Tom Thwaites.
Oh man, that is beautiful.
Is the man who makes things from scratch.
Yeah, look at that. That is metal.
He's an inventor who takes raw materials from the ground
Check it out.
and turns them into his version of the mass-produced objects we can't live without.
It's working!
His creations are so unique they are on show in museums across the world.
I want to get to grips with the extraordinary technology that surrounds us, but we just take for granted.
In this series, Tom is facing a new challenge.
Ah, it's hot! Yes, yes!
Can he make 4 everyday items using only raw materials from the UK
Look at that!
and his own handiwork?
I can do it.
Revealing the story
Whoa.
of our industrial heritage,
Ding!
hidden in the simplest of objects.
It's kind of become a symbol for like the great idea, you know. Ding! The light bulb moment. People say that you can see the Great Wall of China from space, but really, what you can really see from space is like billions of these things just all, you know, lighting up the entire world.
Tom is going to make a light bulb from scratch to illuminate the extraordinary technology that surrounds us. And to find out what's inside, he's taking one apart.
These things are like so delicate and so intricate.
The light bulb works because electrical energy flows in and out along 2 thick metal wires. Copper is used for this because, other than silver, it's the best conductor of electricity there is. Completing the circuit is a thin filament that resists electrical energy and converts it into heat and light.
Nice.
Today, tungsten is used, although the first commercially successful bulbs, made by Thomas Edison in 1878, used carbon. Across the UK, there are now over 1 billion light bulbs, and each one is a precision product of a globalised industry.
It's just mind-boggling, and when you start taking these things apart, you realise that inside every single one there's just such an array of tiny little bits that all have to work together to get the thing to produce light.
The light bulb was the first domestic electrical device, and it revolutionised the way we live. Tom's plan is to recreate it with just British raw materials, and he's going to focus on 3 key components. A super thin filament wire that can hit temperatures of 3,000 degrees Celsius and glow white hot without burning up. A set of thick copper wires for electrical energy to flow in and out of his device, and a see-through glass bulb. To get things rolling, Tom has borrowed his dad's car and is heading for Wales in search of copper for his electrical wire.
We're almost there.
People have dug for copper here on Parry's Mountain since the early Bronze Age.
The keys to the mine.
200 years ago, the Battle of Trafalgar was won in part because Nelson had copper-bottom ships that began life here. At the time, this was the largest copper mine on the planet. Now, the place to dig is on the other side of the globe. A quarter of the world's known copper reserves are in Chile, where machines churn through millions of tons of rock to extract copper ore that can be smelted into metal. But here, the copper in the rock is hard to reach, so Tom is searching for copper in the water. And that means going deep into the abandoned mine.
This bit's a touch tricky, but it's the way, so I'm gonna have to crawl. What's the problem? It's bit small, isn't it?
Okay, well, you go first.
All right.
After 4 hours of crawling on his hands and knees, Tom finds the pool he's been searching for.
Ta-da!
This is groundwater mixed with natural sulfuric acid, a chemical that can attack metal, rock and flesh.
Is that safe? Well, it's a pool of dilute sulfuric acid. Wow, yeah, it tastes like vinegar. Sort of metallic vinegar. In this pool, copper, which has been just dissolved in sulfuric acid, which has then kind of dripped down and sort of concentrated in this red water.
It's just what Tom needs, although getting the water out isn't exactly a barrel of laughs.
Getting heavier by the moment. I think it's straight on. Which way now? I don't know. I think it's to the right. Okay. Wow. For a light bulb? Really? Oh man.
To make usable electrical wire, Tom needs to get at the copper in his toxic mineral water. And there are times when he needs a little bit of help. And right now, he needs a bath.
Hi, Mummy.
What are you doing out here?
I've come to use your bathroom, Mum.
What for?
I just need to put this in the bath. And...
The bath?
yeah.
Tom is about to attempt a process that's best not tried at home. Electro extraction. An electrical current is passed between two electrodes, in through the anode and out through the cathode. And as the current moves through Tom's dirty water, it extracts the copper and deposits it all on the cathode.
So these will be the electrodes. The theory says that the copper from the water should be attracted and stick onto the metal plate. Now I need to attach the battery. Safety first. No, don't think so. Yeah, look at that! Whoa, look at that! Crikey! That's sort of copper-ish.
In this electro extraction plant, almost 1,000 tonnes of copper are produced every day. Tom is working at a slower pace, and he's left his battery plugged into his mother's bath for 4 days.
Ta-da! Check this out. If that is not copper, I do not know what is. Look. Cool. That is a lot of copper. And there's more in there. So I just need to filter that or something.
Tom has created more copper than he needs for his electrical wiring, but his mum is less impressed.
Look at the hell at my bath. That is really, really shocking. And it's been there for 4 days and I'm fed up with it. Get it out of my bath. Really, really, that's awful.
I think this might be the first time I've ever cleaned a bath before.
A week into his attempt to make a light bulb, and Tom has finally cleaned up on copper. Tom's made the copper he needs for his electrical wire. Now he's planning to make glass for the bulb. In a hunt for the raw materials to make glass, Tom is heading for the Scottish Highlands and the coastline opposite the Isle of Mull. This is the site of the UK's only silica sand mine, opened during the Second World War to make glass for gun sights. In 2008, the site was mothballed, but with rising global demand, it's set to reopen.
You can't just use sand like you find on a beach, because that's got loads of other stuff in it.
The silica here is from the pure white sandy beaches of the Cretaceous period and was laid down 135 million years ago.
It's so good, the sand from this mine, that they used to make glass optical instruments from it.
It's almost 99% silica and will give Tom crystal clear glass. Glass is made from sand crystals that are first melted and then cooled quickly to prevent the crystals reforming.
Man, I don't think I've got enough glass on it.
It was the Romans who brought this technology to Britain, and to this day, it takes an apprentice years before they can work glass unaided. Tom has only ever had one lesson.
Oh no. I nearly fainted on the other one because I was blowing so hard.
But Tom won't give up.
I can do it. What are you thinking? I think it's a classic. I think it's a bulb made of glass, which is exactly what one needs when one is trying to make a light bulb. That is as near to perfect as I am ever gonna get.
Tom's made his bulb, but the beauty of mass production is that automation speeds things up and makes things faster and cheaper.
Glass blowing takes place in this rotating two-part mode.
As far back as the 1950s, American factories were already capable of mind-boggling mass production.
Plant capacity through the use of automation is an unbelievable 1 billion bulbs a year.
Tom's cleaned up on copper, and his glass bulb is in the clear. The question is, will his light bulb ever actually light up?
You're shaking. It's because I'm just so nervous that this isn't gonna work. Nothing's happening.
Tom Thwaites is on a quest to make a light bulb from scratch. But the task of recreating a modern filament is beginning to drive him to distraction.
Making a filament is a really tough job. It's essentially a piece of wire which is extremely thin, flawless, and can withstand temperatures of 3,000 degrees. It's not an easy thing to make. The pioneers of light bulb technology, they faced exactly the same problem. Their solution was to get like thin bits of cotton, tiny slivers of bamboo, burn them, carbonise them, and then that would give them carbon filaments.
Carbon filaments, essentially pencil leads, are easy to manufacture, but burn out fast. So modern bulbs use tungsten, a rare metal that can be coiled in superfine loops, too small for the human eye to see. It's also used in armour-piercing shells. In search of one of the largest tungsten deposits in the world, Tom has come to the edge of Dartmoor.
I don't know if this quite feels like it would be the way to a tungsten mine.
Tom's searching for a site that was only operational during the First and Second World Wars, but because of rising commodity prices, is set to reopen again soon, this time with Australian owners.
I think we must be getting close. I think this is it. Loads of these rocks have got tungsten in them. I just need to find one which has got like a nice black seam. Whoa. Oh, it's heavy. I think I have found some tungsten bearing ore. If this is tungsten, then this metal has got the highest melting point of all the metals, and that's why they use it in a light bulb, because it can get white hot and it won't melt and it won't burn. So I have now liberated the bits of rock which contain tungsten, and it's this kind of dark black stuff. So the plan is to grind it into powder, and then hopefully I'll be able to kind of melt it together into a filament wire.
Tungsten melts at over 3,400 degrees Celsius. Not even Tom can find a blowtorch that will go above 2,500 degrees. But because Tom's crushed the rock into a powder, he can fuse together particles without melting all of it in a process called sintering.
I'm thinking this is an awful lot of bother to make. But, you know, getting to the root of so many things that we take for granted, yet couldn't live without. This could be an element for a light bulb. It is kind of beautiful.
It may be a work of art, but it's not 2 meters long, thinner than a human hair, or flawlessly coiled. In search of raw materials for his light bulb, Tom has been on a journey that's highlighted Britain's mineral wealth. To put it to the test, he's heading for Canary Wharf, a global financial centre. And incredibly, he's got permission to go onto the roof.
Wow. This is the top. Wow, that's beautiful. Astronomers have thought that it wouldn't be the stray broadcasts of, you know, the Archers or whatever that would give our position away to aliens. It would be the light coming from the dark side of the planet. And up here, that really makes a lot of sense.
But Tom isn't satisfied with the roof when there's a window cleaning platform that goes even higher.
Whoa! Uh-oh. Suddenly it's got a little bit more risky. It's like floating above the city of London. You can see into the boardrooms. Wow. And there it is. There's the beacon, like smashing light into the sky. So those planes don't just come crashing into here. That is a bright, bright light. And I have my personal version here. Right.
The production cost of an incandescent bulb is just 13p. Tom's version has cost over £1,000.
So I've got to put in my tungsten filament. So now, when I complete this circuit, if this has all come together, then the glass bulb that I blew myself, containing the inner atmosphere which I just made, and then the electricity will flow through the copper wires which I made myself and through the tungsten filament, and that filament will glow white hot, and I will have added one small bulb of light to the millions in the world tonight.
What's happening?
Nothing is happening. All the circuit is connected, but nothing's happening.
Tom's tungsten filament isn't up to the job, but he's got a backup plan. Use the same material that all early light bulbs used, carbon.
Right. I've got a pencil because the lead of a pencil is pure graphite, and graphite is just carbon, and you know, carbon is what Edison was just trying to make.
You're shaking, dude.
It's because I'm just so nervous that this isn't going to work. Alright, the last chance saloon. Okay. It's working! It's working! It's working! It's working! I'm here! I'm here!
That is incredible.
I'm here, world! That is really bright! That isn't just working. Edison himself would be happy with that.
Tom's UK-sourced homemade light bulb works.
It's amazing.
Oh, you did it, man! You did it!
Check it out. Wow. That is amazing. It's kind of got...
It's a triumph. Tom has recreated the electrical device that's shaped civilization as we know it.
I'm here, aliens! I'm here! We're here! Ah! It's nice and hot now as well. Oh.